Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy. I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy.
Jamil, I remember in 2006 when you decided to go to Atlanta. I wasn't really excited about you going, but I saw that you were determined to go. Because when you were on your way, the car broke down, and you got out of your car and got into your cousin's car and had your car towed back home and kept going to Atlanta. And then from there, I just saw how you began to bloom. And you had your ups, you had your downs. And even though I was here and you were there, I was still just a phone call away. And we talked every day. It's just been exciting to see how you've grown, how you've changed your way of thinking, how you've enlightened me in your journey, how you've shared so much knowledge, and you've taught me so much. You've taught me how to think for myself. You've taught me how to investigate for myself and seek out the truth. And that's something that I never did before. And I'm really grateful for that. It has taken a lot of courage for you to do the things you've done. You have made me proud. I'm excited for you. I love you. I admire you. You encourage me to pursue the best me that I can possibly be. In all that I do, I share with you. And I'm grateful for that, and I love you.
Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy. I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kiana Quarles. Glad to have you with us today on this beautiful
Morning.
gray Saturday.
Oh,
Before,
it's gray. Is it gray there? It's
yeah,
gray
I was
there.
about to say before I start talking about the weather, what's it looking like?
Cause it's sunny. It's sunny here. uh,
Won't, won't, won't.
Wow.
Well, here in Atlanta, it's gray right now. We're getting we're getting some of that tropical storm. I think that's coming through the south. So, as Ludacris and
Oh.
Jermaine Dupri would say, "Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play." Oh man, it's good to see your face. What's going on? I ain't seen you in a couple weeks, even though I've been in Indianapolis, in and out. What's going on? I see y'all gave
Mm,
away that
mm.
beautiful refrigerator.
Yes, we did. So we didn't give it away. It was a sponsored refrigerator, and it was meant to be in the community in the first place. It
Mm-hmm.
just so happens that the area in which it was in, for the festival, we couldn't put it there because there was fear of there being some type of damage
Vandalism or
done
something.
to, yeah, yeah. So we moved it, but the area that we moved it to is is very deserving. So it's where it needs to be.
Ain't that something? How something that's like a refrigerator would annoy somebody to where they would vandalize it? It's a refrigerator.
But you know what? The young lady that has been doing this work and doing like putting the mailboxes and the refrigerators in underserved communities, like I've talked to her and she said that people steal the like how do you steal a refrigerator? How do you like they've been stealing the refrigerators. The Marion County Health Department has been coming to her about taking the refrigerators down because there's really no regulation on it. So she's really doing something here like that has like they do it out, they have them in California and stuff like that we're discovering, but here it was unheard of. So when she started doing it, it was kind of like, we don't have no regulations on it. So what do we do? Just tell her she can't do it. And so, so it's just it's been I'm sure it's been a some type of hangups for her, but she's doing it. She
Mm.
still continues to do it. So that's the indie community pantry. So big ups to her.
Big ups to her. Good morning, Mama Harley. She just stepped in the building. Glad to see you
Good morning. Good
virtually.
morning.
Yeah, man. Just getting all this technical stuff. Yeah, so I was in Indianapolis again, but this time I was there for my aunt's funeral. She finally passed. And I say finally as because I knew she was holding on and I could see that she was tired. She'd been sick for a while. Um, it is important. That's if you want to live while you're alive. It's only important to those if your health is important to you. My auntie died while she was from what I was told while she was on a dialysis table. And that got me to reflecting uh, about my auntie, and I loved her. She stepped in when my daddy wasn't there, and she helped raise me. You know, there's an African proverb. It says it takes a village to raise a child, and she was one of the main additions to that tribe that helped raise me, along with my mom, grandmother, grandfather, other family members, and even other friends of the community helped raise me. But she was one of the pillars uh, in my you know, me being raised. And I got to thinking, and I realized I never saw my auntie eat a salad. I've never seen her drink water. But
Mhm.
ironically, she would pray over every piece of food that she ate. She was super religious, and she would bless the food. And that same food killed her. And it wasn't necessarily the food; it was the lack of information. It was how she was raised. And I've dated women across the country, and one of the red flags for me in dealing with a woman is when you go into their house and all they have is snacks. And I'm like, ooh. As somebody that has had a eating disorder growing up, it's not that I'm knocking anybody that loves a snack here and there. It's just I have to protect myself because you get comfortable in a relationship. What happens when you get into a relationship when y'all not necessarily health focused? You have a lot of sex and you go out to eat a whole lot. And so you look at that relationship weight. It's almost like the college, what's it, college 10, college 15, one of those. And as the relationship
Shoot.
progresses,
Yeah.
you
It's
just
freshman 15.
freshman 15, yeah. And so um my auntie should still be here, but it was her food choices. And so I run. Chris Rock has a joke where he talks about how traditionally the black family at a funeral will help celebrate the homegoing of their relative by eating the same foods that killed them.
Mhm.
And that just goes to the leadership. And so that's one of the interim topics I want to talk about is leadership. Like, who are you following? And that's when you're in corporate, when you at a 9 to 5, you have only so much control over your leadership. The corporation picks the leadership, and you can jump from job to job if you don't like the leadership. You can.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be perfect. It's probably not going to be to your complete liking because it's not your corporation. It's ran by other
Right.
people with other interests. But when you leave that corporation and you're in your element of yourself, who are you following? Like when you look at the different um, parts of society, um, as you look at the just the basic person, you get your education. Are we validating and verifying this education that's being pushed to us? No. When you go into the religious institutions, the funeral where my auntie, the church where the auntie's funeral was being held, that whole neighborhood is being gentrified. And almost none of the people that attend that church know anything about how gentrification starts and how it ends up pushing you out. Just by knowing a few people, a handful of the people in that church, and speaking to a lot of them outside of the 401k, most people don't know how to invest. And I'm looking at the leadership, and I'm looking at people follow people that you can look at physically, tell that they are just as unhealthy by their eating habits as my auntie. So it's only going to be a matter of time before the leadership ends up with some type of cancer, maybe end up on dialysis, lose a leg from diabetes, this, that, and the third. But those same people are trying to teach you about the afterlife. They don't really have a handle on the current life.
Yeah.
But they're going to tell you what's going to happen when you die, even though when you die, there's two facts. And I've said this on the show before. One fact is the people that are left behind that loved you will miss you. The second fact is nobody knows what happens to your essence, your soul, your energy when you die. There has not been a reality show to go with, come with me, I'm about to die. Let's see what we about to. There's been nothing to verify any of that stuff. But what we do know is that by eating processed food, genetically modified foods, fast foods, junk foods, all this, it's not going to end well for somebody that's consistently putting that into their body. And this is not a show to judge anybody. You eat what you eat. But I'm just reflecting on a beautiful person, not just to me, to anybody that knows my auntie. They talked about how selfless she was, how giving she was, and she was all of that. And she should still be here today. Now, with that being said, I understand that when people pass, you know what? And here's another thing. Cliche statements were made for a reason. And they sound cliche when you're not going through it. But as a statement that I comprehend is, well, she's in a better place. Her energy is no longer suffering. And that's accurate. Well, not to the capacity that she is here anyway, by being so unhealthy physically. So that is comforting. Plus, with all this bullshit going around right now, it's like, man, I don't know how necessarily we gonna deal with it, and we somewhat healthy and have a better gauge on what we're dealing with, because we go get the data, we validate the data, we check different sources, we compare and contrast. But with that still being said, we don't necessarily know right or left for a fact. I mean, but we do have, a lot of us have a clearer idea of the surroundings, because we've actually went and started to gather the information, and information is priceless to the point where corporations censor information.
Yeah.
They censor free public information. And, we don't ask why. So, before we get to the fun fact, I just want to go over a few attributes that come with leadership. So many people want you to follow what they say. They want you to listen to what they say without being validated and saying it. So, I know people that are horrible with money but get mad when people won't invest in them for financial endeavors. It's like, you have destroyed your own credit history, your own financial path, and you get mad because don't nobody want to take that risk on you.
Yeah.
So many people want to be in leadership because they think it yields financial gain. And in a lot of cases it does, especially when you get us to follow you. to get black people to follow a person that basically equates to money. I mean, when you look at all the people that we follow, a lot of them are really wealthy. Not many of
Yeah.
them are leading you to freedom. So, one of the top attributes for leadership is integrity. Integrity is the quality of the being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. And I know within the last 5 to 10 years, this word morals have been a super big topic. Morals. And they come from people that when you know their past, you be like, you probably shouldn't speak on morals. You should probably let somebody else handle that. And it's not about being perfect. It's about having morals. And I remember telling this one individual when this one individual was telling me that black people don't have any morals. He's black himself. And when I shined a mirror back on his past to even the current portion of his life, I said, I wouldn't say that you lack morals. I would say that you make horrible decisions. And that was me being sort of nice. Because when you do things over and over and over, that kind of checks your morals. If you're harming people, if you're doing things to people that didn't, you're just bullying people and treating them a certain kind of way, that shows you lack a bunch of morality. You don't have the morals that you're projecting onto people, saying that they don't have it.
Right.
And then when you look at the way, wisdom, a leader should have wisdom. And wisdom is simply knowledge applied. If you know all this stuff and you don't apply it, that's not wise, and you don't have wisdom. Wisdom, one of the attributes for wisdom is patience. People just fly off the hook and just run with the first thing that flashes before their eyes, lack of wisdom. Another attribute is the ability to delegate. Now, a lot of these leaders, even the ones that aren't qualified to be leaders, they can delegate the hell out of something because people are just listening to them. I mean, and this is not a knock at Beyonce, but Beyonce can literally right now tweet to all her followers, stop wearing designer clothes. And a lot of it you would see a decline. You would see a decline in the purchase patterns. I remember when she stopped wearing weave, she cut her hair short. All types of women was flooding Twitter, Instagram. Oh, well, it's on now. I'm about to get this short haircut.
Yeah. Even when her and Jay said they were going plant-based.
They said that?
That was a
How long ago was that? That didn't last long, did it? Or maybe
They
they are
still
plant-based. They just not promoting it no more.
Yeah, no, they still are. To my knowledge, yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah, on one of the records, I forget, Jay is on. He talking about intermittent fasting and
Oh,
everything.
shut up. Oh, man, my guy.
So.
Hold on. Red Desmond Thomas. Chat. What's up, fam? Activism and leadership cannot be commodified. Connecting either to money and personal gain practically guarantee backward motion and reinforcing our impression. Integrity is critical. Yep. Hit the nail on the head.
I concur.
Yeah.
Hit
the nail on the head. And we tend to follow the money. You got a lot of rappers that are leading the youth. And if you listen to the music, they've killed up your neighborhood, my neighborhood. they essentially have annihilate an entire nation of other black men and women. But as soon as the Grammys gives them an award, the first thing they do, I want to thank
I
God.
want to thank.
Really? Wow. And nobody's
Where?
questioning that? I remember when Lil Wayne said that when he got a Grammy,
No
and I was
way.
like, wow. The guy that wants to have sex with every woman in the world. Just thank God. And this is not me judging. This is me critically analyzing what is it that we really, I mean, there's a movement I haven't heard in a long time where a lot of women would say, I love trap music and Jesus. And I'm like, wow.
Oh no, I still see some of
Do you?
that. I mean, it's not in that particular meme anymore, but dig, it's still there. It's definitely still there.
Man, I mean, like, can somebody please unplug the Matrix? I don't like it here. Like, this is common sense is nowhere in this message. I fucks with some Jesus and some trap now. Don't get it twisted. What? How, Sway? You don't have the answers.
And it in your topic and the comment that was just made, I think that social media is playing a part into that as well. The morality and the integrity is being lost somewhere within those lines too. Being as though now you can monetize things on social platforms, and the more likes the merrier. So now it's like, what are you really doing this for? And me being a person who loves to give and things of that nature, man, it's difficult. It is. It's hard. It's like you wanna make people aware of your movement, and you want them to be a part of, because we black folks, and we need to be helping each other. But the only way, like, there are no foot soldiers nowadays to where you put the flyers on the windows and tell people, hey, so this is what we getting ready to do. Like, communication is different now. Everything is streaming through a social platform of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kind of washes away all of that, like the whole leadership, like, and then it puts you in the business of being able to have all these questions like, well, what kind of leader are you if you, like, you ain't too much of an activist if you showing yourself giving, and you ain't doing, like, this ain't, it's just, it's so it's so much, and it's just like it's playing a part in that of the morale of leadership as well.
Mm-hmm.
you know Stuff is different nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
It's so different.
Yeah. Good morning, Siobhan, and good morning, Nico. Grand Rising. And you
Yeah.
said one word that I want to circle back on. You said communication. Communication is another attribute that would pinpoint a great leader or a whack leader. How do you communicate? There was something that I saw in regards to men and how they were raised that enable this lack of communication. And that's when, and I recognize that in myself when I, my last girlfriend in college, taught me a whole lot. Shout out to Kim Brown. I didn't know how to communicate, and I'm telling you, the women I would date, when I was upset or didn't feel a certain, if I didn't know how to use my words, so I would just disappear for like 2.5 weeks, and I know that drives women crazy.
Nuts.
I'd be
Like,
like, "Oh,
and then
word,
yeah,
bye."
it drives women nuts. And then y'all get on that whole thing. I don't know why she like what did I do to make you shoot? Like you crazy.
Yeah,
Like, bro, like we was just cuddling and in love one day, and then we had one disagreement, and
pew.
I ain't heard from you in a month. Like,
Yeah,
yeah. What is going on?
and I read that comes
Yeah.
from when you're raised by your mother. Whenever there's a disagreement or something like that, she typically will, after you get the spanking. This is my mother would spank you. Then my mom would spank you. Then she would, now let me tell you why I did it. I didn't want to do it. I hated to do it. And so what happens over time, that starts to build a sense of what's the word? A sense of entitlement. Like, if you do something wrong in my eyes, you need to come and correct that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to come and correct that. And I'm going to step away until you ready to correct it. And so once you recognize, okay, that is a flaw of mine. Because I remember Kim used to be like, what she say? She used to be like, I need you to use your words. And I'd be like, if you don't get that North Side Township shit out of my face, I am from the hood.
No, that's not North Side. Let me break that down to you, sir. What she was using was kindergarten strategies. That's what you say to toddlers. I need for you to use your words.
And you had
You
to
know
use
them.
that with me, evidently, because I was like, no. I'm big 22 to no. I'm going to disappear for 2.5 weeks. That's how this works.
No. No. And just because you're talking to me like I'm 7, I'm not going to talk to you for 2 weeks.
For 2 whole weeks.
I'm going to show you how this 7-year-old thing works.
But wait a minute, ain't you about 30? Shut your mouth. Don't you disrespect, and then the shit just takes off. It just goes even further left. But I learned to start communicating with her. But you find so many people that insert themselves in this area of authority. They can't communicate. And then whatever they say is golden, even when you show them that it's not.
Yeah.
Like,
listen,
you're not prepared to be a leader, ma'am, sir, ma'am.
Listen, this is me taking accountability for myself. And there are a lot of us as well who mean well and who knows who has the vision and knows what it is that they want to do, but have a hard time articulating it. And that also is like poor communication. That is something that I'm working on myself. A part of the decompress or that meeting that you have with your crew after you have an event, and they're saying, okay, well, this, that, and the other. And that was one of my things. It's like, because I couldn't communicate well what it was that I was wanting to be, or what I was needing to be done, I would just do it myself. Mm-hmm. It was like, forget it. I'm gonna do it myself, because y'all obviously don't know. and that was, that I admitted to that, like once it was brought up to me. And that's something that I need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is me holding myself accountable for that. I need to work on better articulating what it is that I'm looking for, and whatever vision I have in my mind, really setting that out, laying it out, and so that people better understand, you know, what it is I'm looking for. And if that is a part of your strengths, that is what I want you to work on. And then
Mm-hmm.
this is what delegating.
That
Like,
goes back to
man,
delegation. Yeah.
yeah.
And what you just talked
And
about,
that communication thing is key.
yep, communication, the delegation, and what you just touched on is a form of learning agility. Learning agility is about knowing when to learn, knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. We can't always stick with rhetoric that you don't see that yields no fruit. Okay, they told us growing up don't have sex before you married. That doesn't work. Everybody under that tutelage got pregnant in high school. got pregnant got pregnant, in their early 20s. So, as a leader, whether it's in your family, whether you're a mentor, something like that, it's like, all right, so that hasn't worked since the 20s, or has it ever worked? Since it hasn't worked, as the leader, let's go ahead and find something else to do,
Yeah.
to teach. Since biology uh, says the opposite of that statement, I mean, you're born with hormones for a reason. I mean, that's not to say abuse the hormones, but you got hormones for a reason.
Hmm.
So instead of just denying those hormones, teach teach the kids about those hormones. Teach the kids um,
Yeah.
the precautions in utilizing those hormones. Teach them the hazards of using those hormones uh, with no precaution. Do that. Now you prepare that child to actually use their brains when them hormones get to, you know, when them hormones get to telling your body, hey,
Yeah.
ignition, fellas. Ooh, ah, ooh. You know what I mean? When Boys to Men get in your ear, ooh, 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 ah, ooh, and then you turn into Star Quest on somebody. That's a Naptown reference right there. And then another one is influence, which we already talked about that around up there with the delegation. My guy Red said, change the failed failing formula, learning agility. That's right. Change it. Stop
Yeah.
regurgitating what Big Mama said
Yeah.
because it didn't work. She said it to try to protect you, but there was no logic. It didn't work. Everybody's pregnant. Well, not now. The pregnancy rate is down within the. That's another topic. But anyway,
Yes,
influence,
it is.
the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself. I know people that do a lot of yelling, do a lot of screaming, do a lot of tirading around, trying to force people to listen to what they're saying, but they have no influence. Some have influence. I mean, it's first of all, if your life, if the people that know you know your history, and you trying to, and not just the history, your current Everybody can evolve. Everybody should evolve. But if your action, the way you live, are opposite of what you're screaming to people, just nobody's listening to you.
Right.
And the next one is empathy. Empathy is the capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within their frame of reference. That is the capacity to place oneself in another person's position. Now, I know with me, whenever I have a disagreement with somebody, I always, almost always, depending on the severity of it, because sometimes you just pew, and then afterwards you get the thing, you be like, tone that back a little bit. But when it ain't pew, I often put myself in this person's shoes and be like, so what would make them feel this way? And I find that in a lot of cases, it provides a level of empathy within myself, even if I know you dead wrong. I know people that are dead wrong in their approaches and how they handle stuff. But I empathize with them because I can see the pain that they have endured from the chaos and the misunderstanding and the feeling of being neglected by important people. When that's misinterpreted based off of an emotional way of comprehension, what happens? What's the phrase? Hurt people will hurt people. So
Mm-hmm.
that empathy allows you to see, okay, can I help this person? Or is this person too deep into their own chaos? And if they're too deep into their own chaos, then they got to deal with that. I got to step away, because what happens when a person that can't swim tries to help somebody that can't swim?
Y'all both end up drowning.
Night, night. Night, night. Y'all going to the upper room. So, but empathy is extremely important. And then the next one is courage. And I looked at that word, and that word alone, I don't think we pay too much attention to it. And it's because many of us haven't been taught courage. We don't have courage. We go along with the masses. Even though we know better, fear removes that courage. A lot of your leaders, most of your leaders, don't have courage, because they know the ones that do have courage end up dying.
And they're reactionary based upon that of fear.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking on those that do have courage that get taken out, they get taken out, and whatever they was fighting for becomes null and void, because it goes back to the people. The people aren't indoctrinated with courage. We are heavily influenced by fear.
Yep.
Heavily. Everything to keep you going in a certain forward movement off the cliff, you just got fear cheerleading you. Fear cheerleading you. That's why sometimes when I see some leaders that are fearless and that have a level of courage that I've never seen, I gravitate to them. One person in particular is let me find this guy's name. I know his first name. Julius Malema of South Africa. That brother right there, he's like the one of the newest versions of what you would see in Malcolm X. But he's a South African version because of all of the bull crap that's coming through the various governments down there. You don't see a Julius Malema, especially not in America. you might have those, but they're not publicized because they are greatly feared by the establishment, especially if the people begin to develop a certain type of courageousness like that. And then I got to thinking too. I was talking to my homeboy, and I was like, "Man, you realize?" And I was just thinking about the humble beginnings that I grew up in when I look at my video, the house that I was raised in, that house that's in the promo, that was the house that I was raised in. But then you look at the house that your parents were raised in, your father.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at the house that your mother and father's grandparents were raised in. And then you look at the house that your grandparents' parents was raised in, and you are smack dab in the middle of slavery. And I was like, wow, we aren't that far from slavery.
Remove.
We're not that far removed. And it's a wonder why a good majority of us are still controlled by the mentality of constantly being oppressed to being suppressed. Eventually, the mind starts to repress itself. Eventually, you start to see Stockholm syndrome just littered all over the place. And so you'll have a few of the, out of the masses, you'll have the people that's like, oh no, that's not the way I want to go. So let's go this way. But the masses are still going this way. So it's easy to pick out those, what did they call? Mavericks. News loves that word. The Mavericks. When you see the Mavericks going this way, the system that they fighting against is like, oh, we'll take that. Bloop, 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 bloop. Meanwhile, the other people, like, have you seen, was I talking to you, Kiana, about when mice will see, they'll see the food. They'll also see this a trap. But they'll just be flooding in to the trap. And then when they realize the trap, they like, oh shit, this was a trap. And now they can't get out. But they saw the other mice falling into this trap.
Yeah.
So that's where we at right now. We've been there for a long time. And whenever you have a voice that comes up and illustrates, hey, it's not the right way, those same people pushing that way, they like, nah, son, you need to shut up. We need to go this way.
Nah, son. Yeah.
Ha. Red knows who Julius Malema is. My man. Revolution. Yep, that's right. And then the last attribute I want to cover, because then we're going to get to your fun fact, and then we're going to get everybody back to their Saturdays. The word respect. And what did they tell you as a kid about respect? How do you yield respect? By giving respect.
Yeah.
Respect is earned. It's not given. You have to earn respect.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of leaders that don't have respectable lives. There's a lot of people that's doing a lot of internet talking. They don't have respectable lives. There's a lot of people that's doing a lot of barbershop talking. It sounds good. Especially since you've gotten all your talking points from the media. You can't show where and when somebody comes with information that contradicts what you say, then you have a rationale that don't make sense to nobody but you.
Right.
But respect. First of all, I know people that do all this talking, they don't respect themselves. They don't respect their family members. And you don't have to like your family members to respect them. I got a family member, I got some family members I don't even talk to. The reason why I don't talk to them is because they will force me to disrespect them because they are disrespectful. So I will politely remove myself from that situation. Still love them, still care about them, but I don't get paid to get disrespected.
Respectfully.
Yeah, I don't get paid
Hmm.
to be disrespected. So, and respect goes a long way. Did you know why the government never slapped Malcolm X? Never hit him with a rock? I mean, they eventually killed him because they knew they couldn't play those games where they can smack you and spit on you. Even though they hated
Right.
him, they respected him. They knew he was about every last word he uttered. They took him out, but they didn't play them spitting and hit you with a rock and you know what I
Yeah.
mean? This, that, and
They
the
knew
third.
it. They knew it was gonna take. It was gonna take more. Like
Yeah,
you can't. At some point in time, I got to fight intelligence with intelligence. That man was intelligent.
yeah. And he was like Digital Underground. If you hit me, then I'll hit you back.
Slap me and I slap
Slap
you
you
back.
back. So you keep your hands in your goddamn pocket, and I'm gonna keep mine's there. So that's the end of my rant. It just that funeral just had me thinking on so many levels. I'm like, wow, where's the leadership in this tribe, in this community? And what happens when people come and provide solid information that'll help you get out of a current situation and elevate even higher? Do you reject it? In most cases, we will reject it because it's not comfortable. We're comfortable eating the jacked up food. That's what we've been conditioned to do. um, but yeah, this episode is dedicated to Ain't Lady Gila Harley. I love you, baby.
Mm.
So let's get to this fun fact. Hold on. Gotta cue the music. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Shout out to my good friend producer for this track, this intro, Naldi Beats.
That is a fun fact. Want to hear a fun fact? It's like a fun fact.
Another fun fact.
Here's a fun fact. Or not so fun fact. Or here's another not so fun fact.
Not so much fun anymore, is it?
Your turn.
All right. So for the past couple of days, well, this was sent to me in my DM via IG um, for a call of action, which would be essentially to donate and to also repost and share. It was a story of an American Idol contestant or winner, rather. Um, she had two children taken out of her care, um, and they called that medical kidnapping. So March 11th, this woman's 1-year-old. Now, let me just say that this is a black woman whose husband is a black man, and they have black children. Okay, so they're 13 months old, I believe, at the time. His name is Amin Ra, and he was um, he was breastfeeding, and upon breastfeeding, he had they were weaning him off to more solid foods, and um, it wasn't. He was her, I guess her breast milk supply was going down, and then he wouldn't eat anything else. So they sought help outside of the home. They went to John Hopkins Hospital in Florida. So when they went there, um, to seek help. Instead they got something totally different. So what happened was, um, they were trying to give uh, Amin Ra a B12 shot, and the amount of B12 that they were trying to give him like surpasses the amount of B12 which is actually needed in the first place. So upon them doing that, the uh, the mom Saisha said, "So listen, I'm going to before you administer that shot, I want to wait on my husband." And with her saying that, they took that as a denial or a refusal of her getting the shot, and then called in a doctor, Dr. Sally Smith, who is notorious for putting children into foster care and separating families, and just designating, just saying child abuse, calling child abuse for whatever it is that she sees. So then they call in Sally. Sally comes in, checks the baby out, tells them, okay, that's neglect. We're gonna have to take the child. So Saisha is like, what is going on? Like, no, I didn't refuse the shot of B12. Like, I initially came in here seeking help, and y'all telling me because I said I want to wait on my husband before y'all give this B12 shot to my baby, that now y'all are trying to take my baby. So they ended up taking Amin Ra, and they still don't have Amin Ra back. But they ambushed Saisha and her husband on the highway with several officers, sheriffs, all these, all these people, caseworkers, all these people, uh, had them pull over on the highway, because they said that they were like, they're, I guess, some type of charge or something like that, where they needed to take the second baby because she already had another baby. Like, during the time of her weaning the first baby off, Amin Ross, like, she had found out that she was pregnant with another baby. Her other baby girl is Aset, and Aset was born at home. I believe both the births were home births. So, being that she didn't report having the baby. I don't even know why it's just too much. Being that she didn't report that she had another baby, they took that as being suspicious. Um, did all of this extra stuff, pulled them over on the highway, and ended up taking Aset as well. So they all of this from the refusal of a B12 shot. The parents don't have criminal records. The mother has a key to two of the cities, and did anti-bullying programs and all kinds of stuff for Sarasota, Florida, and another city in Florida. And now that they're trying to take her children away. So she, as of right now, they have Aset, but they're still trying to get Amin Ra. So all of that to say that there has been a separation of Black families for some time. Like, our children represent, um Black children are not a big percentage in the country, but are represented more in foster care than that of our white counterparts, Hispanic, and all the other races. And this goes back all the way into that of slavery. And now they're just using it in a different form and trying to say that it is socioeconomic status, and basically saying that those that are in the poor neighborhoods are the ones that are targeted, those that are poor. Granted, there are poor whites as well, and Hispanics and everybody else, why is it that we are represented more? Why is it that we are targeted more? And it comes a time when we really do have to get back to providing those amenities for ourselves and our communities, as the Black Panther Party once did, with the health care, the programs that they offered, free screenings and so on and so forth. So, it is, this is still happening, the separation of families. And I believe that it is up to us to correct that issue. So that is my fun fact for the day.
Fun fact.
You are now listening to the Jamil Harley Morning Show.
I think you're right, but I don't think it's going to happen no time soon. We have all these things that we need to do to correct this, and that circles back to the original topic of leadership. We don't
Well,
have accurate leadership.
it just, that right there, like it just happens in small strides,
That we
like,
know of.
right. And there's some things that you don't know of, and we probably don't know of it because it'll probably be dismantled upon recognition. So, you know, I've been thinking long and hard about that, and I'll just say that that's something that you and I will discuss off air. but but yeah, I believe that it can be done, but it just,
Oh, most definitely it can be done. It would be
yeah.
revolutionary for it to happen. I mean, J. Edgar Hoover said one of the worst things that could happen to the culture of this country is for black people to unite. And that's why Stokely Carmichael and Malcolm X were two of the top most feared individuals here, which is another reason why they had to go, to keep us in pocket. And
Hmm.
I've heard other speakers speak about how we're only, what's it, 150 years out of slavery. You're four people, you're four generations, like me, my mother, my grandmother, and her mother.
Yeah. And what people don't understand is they take the word slavery and they apply it to the initial, uh that initial part of time, that era back then. But like, slavery has come in many different forms, and it has been renamed several times, like the sharecropping, the like, all of it, those were still forms of slavery and servitude, like all of that, those are just slavery by a different name, mass incarceration, slavery by a different name.
The institution was
So
never
no,
torn down. It was never destroyed. What Abraham Lincoln
never.
signed, he signed it after the slaves was about to, they were pretty much free, and the shit was already over like that, but it never,
That portion.
yeah, it was never like, okay, this is wrong. Let's destroy it.
Yeah, there was no sense of like true empathy behind it. It was always business.
It was Puff Daddy. And when I say Puff Daddy, it was remixed. Puff Daddy would take,
Always.
Puff Daddy would take a song that the OJs made in the 50s, put a couple beats to it, and now Biggie Smalls got a hit. No, that song was already a hit, Diddy. You're cheating. How you gonna take Between the Sheets
Yeah,
and turn
but
it into Big Papa? It was already a hit. It's not that hard to make a hit after it's already been made a hit. But yeah, and we play these games. We play these games, but we play these games because the leadership. You shouldn't walk into any establishment where oppressed people conjugate, and the majority of those
Yeah.
people don't know finance. If you're the leader, if you don't know finance, it is your responsibility to usher that in. But what happens with most of our leaders? They exploit the followers so that they are good. And then they tell the followers, you just got to suffer, man. Your reward is in heaven. But right now, you just got to suffer. Meanwhile, I got multiple estates, houses, cars, Airbnbs. I can go anywhere I want, but y'all struggling. Hey, that's just the way it is. A leader, come on, man. If everybody's dying in around you from diabetes, from different forms of cancer that that stem from food, the foods that you eat, you should recognize like, hey, okay, we understand that nobody knows when you're going to get out of here, but you're definitely going to get out of here. But while you're here, you should be proactive in the quality of life. And you may slack over here, you may slack over there. But when it comes to this, learn about this, and then that'll kind of help you learn about this over there, that over there. Like, we shouldn't be afraid of information, especially if it's information that's going to start yielding you some type of fruit when this other information has you chasing your circle and you've been chasing your tail. And you've been chasing your tail since your great-great-great-grandparents.
Right.
Because you are the manifestation of everybody before you. So I mentioned my auntie passed. She's still here. She's a part of my genetics. My father passed. He's a part of my genetics. My granddaddy passed. All you do when you make kids, you just make another version of every piece of people before you. So you owe it to yourself, meaning your previous selves, the previous versions of you, to get it right, to stop following instructions that don't match with the building that you're trying to build. You can't build an igloo using remote control car instructions. Remote control car, you got to do is add batteries. You need more than batteries to make this igloo, baby. You got to get you some igloo instructions. So Lydia says she missed us. We missed you too, Lydia.
Oh.
Missed everybody that we hadn't spoke to in about 2 weeks. We hadn't seen y'all faces in about 2 weeks. And that was my fault.
I feel like it's been longer than that.
No, we did it the weekend after the festival.
Okay. Yeah.
That just means we can't take no more breaks for the rest of the year.
Wait.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the show. You got anything else for us, Q Quarrels? No?
No, just enjoy y'all's day. Tell
Enjoy
somebody
y'all's day.
that you ain't told in a long time that you love them. And yeah,
And
that's
hold it
it.
down. You heard me. I want to
And
thank
hold
everybody
it down.
that chimed in. We got my mama, we got Red, we got Siobhan, Nickel, She, uh, and Lydia. I appreciate y'all for chiming in. That has been the Jamil Harley Show. Thank y'all, and we will see y'all back next week. Chot Chisel, my guy. Love you too, bro. Thank everybody for chiming in. We will see y'all next week.
You are now listening to the Jamil Harley Morning Show.